There just always seems to be like so much stuff to talk about when it's my week. I guess I'll just sort of tail end to what you were talking about last week with Joe Maddon. It is now official. Joe Maddon is out as the Cubs manager. Now, I still think he's a fantastic coach. He is old school with all this wave of sabermetrics and all this other stuff. Not that he's not accepting it, because he's always been sort of like a different thinker, finding different ways to do things, pulling pieces from other places. He made Tampa Bay competitive, the Cubs competitive. We just got to see where he's going to go next, because someone's definitely going to take him. And there's a couple places where he may or may not go. One of them might be the Los Angeles Angels. And we have Mike Trout, and he's doing so well. I mean, Sir Didi Gregorius even said in an interview, whatever it was the other week, that looking at Trout's stats, he should get MVP. Trout did have a fantastic year, but he's only made the playoffs once, and they got, I think, swept or ever. But another team that we discussed as we were trading camera equipment might be the San Diego Padres. They're an up-and-coming team that they've been trying to rebuild these last couple of years, where they seemed like maybe they would, and then they falter a little bit. With the acquisition of Manny Machado, Madden could help maybe Machado go from where he is now, but like getting him to that MVP caliber, taking control of this younger team and making them into something like he did with the Rays and the Cubs. Now, I talked about how Mike Trout might win MVP, and he very well could be. My heart is at DJ LeMahieu, because he literally was the most valuable player for the Yankees, and the Yankees were losing everybody, and he played first base, second base, third base, DH sometimes. He did everything. He came over from Colorado because people thought like, Coors Field is not as good as that. And he proved on a 2-year, $24 million deal. I thought it was very, very good that the Yankees took him. It seems like LeMahieu sort of made things work, which is really, really nice. And I'm excited. I think he should, if you want to put the emphasis on most valuable, not most gaudy stats. But speaking of gaudy stats, I've got my phone right here. I have a stat that just blows my mind, because you don't really see this too much. So we have a guy called Alex Bregman, and he has 119 walks to only 83 strikeouts this year. Only 83. That's under 100. And he's got almost 120 walks. I mean, that's just, like, it always blows my mind when, like, I see someone, they might have, like, 150 walks and only 124 strikeouts. But, this is under 100 in the strikeouts. And he was able to do this. And it blows my mind that, like, he's that patient at the plate that can draw these walks, because pitchers are obviously, like, pitching around him a little bit because they know he's dangerous. I mean, 296 average. He had 112 RBIs, 41 home runs. So 156 games with 164 hits. That's almost a hit a game. It's more than a hit a game. 122 runs scored. I mean, his stats since he's come into Houston in 2016, when he was a 22-year-old, now he's a 25-year-old. And he's just been getting better and better. And if you want to look at the gaudy stat like that, maybe give him MVP for that, but it's a big toss-up. And I just want to close out with the National League, and I'm sad the Mets didn't get to make it. When I saw the Cubs fall, which, like Joe Maddon, like Anthony Rizzo, and they were sort of falling a little bit, I was like, all right, the Mets got this, because Milwaukee, I was like, no way they're going to do anything. They lost their MVP candidate, and Milwaukee was just like, screw that, we're going to start winning more games than we should, like we did last September. And they almost forced the game 163 again, but the Cardinals were able to hold on to that, which they've had a roller coaster of a season all year, being in like third, fourth, first, second, first, all throughout the year, and they were able to sort of hold it out, but just barely. Milwaukee, I don't know what's going to happen with them. They're dangerous. As for who I think will be in the World Series, Braves, I don't really want to count them out. The Dodgers, back-to-back NL champs, but Kenley Jansen just hasn't had it this year. So that back of that bullpen has just not been as reliable. I think the A's are a good sleeper team. I think they're the most dangerous in these playoffs. That's all I got for you, man. Hockey season's starting up soon. Getting excited for that. Let's go Rangers.